What's up, guys? Technical difficulties will have you going live, right? Here we go. Pillar Talk, episode 153 with Tom Gerwick today. We got our sponsors, Kennedy Health and Wellness. That's you.
I appreciate the love.
Appreciate you. BrainJerk and the Monroe County Reporters. They the show's also. Are we good? Yeah, I thought that was Ryan. Sorry. Smoker Society, Little Brown Jug, Amaya's Fresh Mexican Grill, 8 Mile Vodka, Mint Cannabis, IWR, Lane's Pizzeria, and Just Drive with Jess.
Can I just say one thing real quick?
You can say many things real quick.
I know a lot of us follow the Monroe County Reporters, but make sure you guys subscribe to them. They do a good job at promoting local businesses, promoting our coaching stuff when we have stuff going on. They just do a great job for getting news updated to you very quickly. Just make sure you go subscribe to those guys. That's all I want to say.
You missed out on the 99-cent subscription. It's $3 now. A Facebook update.
It's worth it though.
It is worth it.
Go. Make sure you go subscribe.
If you were a 99-cent subscriber, you continue your grandfathered in. So,
yeah, I'm a grandfather. Can I get in for 99 cents?
I wish, huh? So, Tom, tell us who you are besides just your name.
Oh, hi, I'm Tom Gerwick. Born in Monroe in 1952. Ida High School graduate.
Okay.
Yeah, class of 70. So that was a few years ago. So I've done a few things around town here.
So he keeps going raving about you. Like, explain to this show. I know you've done a lot, but I'm curious about the show in particular. Explain to me a little bit about it. I don't know the name. I forget the name he said and everything. Just start from
he's talking about the TV show.
Oh, the TV show. Okay, we did a show. It was on Monroe Public Access. It was called The Lotus Ginkgo Show. And it was written, produced, directed by Lee Markham. And we taped in the Impact Studios, high atop the Benish Building in beautiful downtown Monroe. And we did that show. We taped 4 times a year, and we showed each episode 13 times. So it was every Thursday night at 7:00. I might be wrong there, but whenever it was, I forgot now. But we did 105 episodes over 25 years.
105?
105.
Okay.
Nice.
So 25 years times 4 a year. You can do the math there, Coach.
So I got a question. I heard, is this true? I heard that it wasn't scripted.
It was totally scripted. Totally scripted. Yes. Lee wrote everything out. All I had to do was show up and read what he wrote. So it was, if anybody is old enough to remember the Johnny Carson show, so he was Johnny Carson, I was Ed McMahon. So I was the straight guy. So, and I would, he'd tell a joke, I'd laugh, and so on and so forth. But his character was Lotus Ginkgo, and he made it up from the lotus around Monroe and the ginkgo tree in front of Dorsch Library. I mean, there's a few around town.
That's the inspiration for the name?
Yes, that was the inspiration for the name.
That's pretty cool.
So I had been in the Navy Reserve, and I had an old flight suit. So I would play this character. We named my character Major Vista. So I had a company back in the day, Major Vista Media. So they named me Major Vista, and would show up, same flight suit. It was flying military, and Ray-Ban sunglasses. That was my character. So I kept it all in character.
How many people were involved in that show? Was it just you guys most of the time on that show?
We'd have at least 2 camera operators, and then somebody sitting at the control console, and we'd do the taping, and then he'd do some editing, put it all together with some graphics, and then the show would usually take a month to get it up and running. Yeah.
Can you is there anywhere you can still watch them today? Like, so for the listeners, I've caught them on YouTube. You can find some different
You can still
things.
find them on YouTube.
That's where you can find them.
So I'm told. I haven't looked lately.
Do you, out of curiosity, so I hear a lot of people say this. Do you ever watch it? Like, have you ever watched your old show?
We called the show the worst show in television, and we encourage people not to watch. Go find something constructive to do. Don't watch this stuff.
That's funny.
And this was a comedy-based show,
it's
right?
Self-deprecating. So we talk about different things going on around Monroe.
Okay. So it was really local, though. That's cool.
It was a local show.
I like that.
Poke fun at politicians and business people and
I love it, man.
So on and so forth.
So go check that out on YouTube if you're listening and you're interested.
Yeah, the Lotus
I bet
Ginkgo
there's some.
show.
Also, like what's crazy about watching stuff like that, and I was just talking about this with the Lions before the podcast, but like when you go back and see how much times have changed, like just I bet watching that show, listening to the jokes you guys were making about the different areas or situations or people that were like going on at that time, politicians and everything, like it's probably just mind blowing to be like, what?
It's probably it's pretty similar if you think about
Similar to what? This?
To what's going on now.
Oh,
like the things you were poking fun at,
Time-
we could poke fun at still
today.
probably.
Yeah, there's a
Sure.
lot of fun you could. I hate to say it like this, but there's a lot of fun you could poke at politicians.
Well, yeah,
and,
the mayor of Monroe and city council. We tried to lampoon people whenever we could.
did you ever get any? How do I?
Piss somebody off.
That's what I want to
That's
know.
what he wants to know.
There was some negativity. Got some feedback. People, if you don't want to watch it, turn the channel.
Yeah.
You get stuff on FB. You don't like it, keep scrolling.
Keep scrolling.
Yeah.
We're huge on that.
Yeah.
That's awesome though. It never like left you out any opportunities or nothing though, did it?
No.
See, that worked out. You got to, have your fun and
Well, as long as everybody knows it's all in fun.
True.
I mean, I'm sure people still get a little butthurt, but
do you think so I don't know the scope of the show, but times have changed a lot. Do you think a show like that would last today? Do you think it would make it today?
let's try.
Probably not. Probably not.
I just I haven't watched it, but the world's obviously shifted in certain ways, and
Oh, it certainly has.
I wonder if things, and speaking of that, this is a good kind of transition point. He is. This dude's definitely one who likes to
Good.
stir shit
Like-
up.
My kind of people.
And it's mostly just by asking questions that nobody wants to hear the right answers to.
Right.
And people get mad and have their own emotions, right? Then their feelings get involved instead of their minds.
That's right.
And it's like, well,
See, because this guy likes to tap on things like politics, religion, different things that really, but he does it in a way, and it's funny, right? Because he does it in a way, it almost, and I might piss some people off, but it shows where we are as a society, because he does it in a way that's more questioning
none of it's my opinion.
than literally being
Well, everybody's got their own opinion.
and everybody hammers him for it, and he's like, dude, I asked a question.
I
And
didn't give any of my opinion.
He's like, I literally, or I gave a common thought of society and asked, why is it like this or something, and people just go nuts on him, and I'm like, he asked a question.
But to be fair,
yeah,
we have. I did the math. There was a 6-1, 7-1 odds in my favor. People are liking it and being in my favor most of the time, but sometimes I piss a lot of people off just
good for you
for the moment.
Good for you.
This might be a crazy question and have a lot of depth to it, but what was the early, what was the 60s, 70s, 80s like in Monroe? What was that like?
Good question.
Oh, well, let's see. 60s were high school years for me. And then 70s, I got out of high school and I got a job at GM in Toledo. And I bought my first car, which was a 69 Z28.
I was just about to ask.
Uh-huh. So it was a go fast. Everybody had go fast cars.
That's what
and they were, I paid $2,400 for a car that was a year old.
Did y'all just hear that?
And now, you know, we
2400.
watched Mecum auction, and same car would go for probably 200 to 300,000 nowadays. Should have kept that car. Well, I blew the engine and I traded it for a 68 Roadrunner.
Okay. Yep.
So I'd beat the living hell out of that car.
Were you wild when you were young? Were you out partying, having fun, or what was?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I would. My question was going to be like, what was your typical like? Let's go back to high school for a second, right? What was your typical, not in school, but what was your typical outside of school life like? Because I know it was completely different than what the kids are doing now.
Oh,
So
well,
take us back to like what a
the
day
late
in the life.
60s.
Yeah.
And different than what we were even.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I lived more of an old school childhood than the kids do now. But go ahead.
Vietnam was going on.
Okay.
There was a lot of protests. It made the news every day. I mean, I was a senior in high school when Kent State went down in May 4th of 70. You know, so that was, and all the groups, all the music came out then. The Doors, Beatles, you know, we watched them when they first came on, Ed Sullivan. First concert I went to, I can remember, was Rolling Stones at Olympia Stadium in Detroit, November of '69. And I think I paid $5 or $6 for a ticket.
Wasn't that the year that they
Wow.
landed on the moon too?
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
What a freaking time to grow up.
It was the summer of '69.
It was. It was.
Like that's
And
a
I was
great time
taking,
to be.
I was taking summer classes at Michigan State, and a friend had an apartment. So I remember July 20th, 1969. It was in Kathy Lowney's apartment, and first taste of cold duck. So if you know what cold duck is, it's like Asti Spumani. Anyhow, watching it on TV, it was pretty trippy. Yeah. Thinking back. But Creedence Clearwater Revival was coming out with records, and the Doors, and you know, Janis Joplin died when I was a senior. Jimi Hendrix died. Jim Morrison, like the year after. So a lot of pop icons that people are still listening to the music today.
Yeah.
But that's when it all came out.
Legend.
That's the golden. I've always said that's like the golden age of music right there. That's the, like, I hate to say it because I know it sounds negative, but music was so much better from like the 70s and 90s. Like all the way from the 70s through the 90s, music was just so good.
I disagree with. I don't like the '80s hair metal. But that's my least one of my least favorites up until the more recent stuff. But '80s hair metal, I can dig it. But I'm like, how the hell does that era happen?
80s, that was 40 years ago.
Those are cross-dressing men back in the 80s, and people are
Wearing lots of.
Everybody accepted it back then. Now everybody's up in an uproar about everything now. It's like, you know,
times do change.
That's one of those things
Yeah.
where I don't know if some of those bands could make it.
No, they do,
especially doing the things that they did. Some of the backstage things that they got away with back then too.
I'll agree with that.
That's
Backstage
probably a
stuff,
little bit.
It wouldn't be the same, but I think like Twisted Sister. I think if Twisted Sister were to come around now, they would be good. They would blow up.
I thought Twisted Sister
Kiss
was awful.
One. It's just the
never cared much for Kiss.
Gimmicks. I never cared for Kiss either.
I don't have it. Don't have any of their albums.
I was a Aerosmith. Okay, so my first concert actually was Eminem, but it was supposed to be Aerosmith, Kiss, Ted Nugent, and Saliva.
Seen Ted
The year of
Nugent.
the blackout, 2003. So the blackout postponed it, and then I got to see Eminem, 50 Cent, Missy Elliott.
Were you at Ford Field?
Yeah.
I was at that show.
Too?
Yeah. I was at that show.
But
so was she.
I was my favorite band at the time was Aerosmith.
Okay.
When I saw them live, I became more of a fan of Kiss than I was just because of their live performance, but I didn't go home and listen to their albums or nothing because of it. And then I became a little bit less of a fan of Aerosmith once I saw them live, and they weren't like what I expected here, and I don't know
Isn't
why
that
I expected
crazy?
it to
Didn't meet
be-
your expectations.
Yeah,
Live performances will do that for me too, though. Like I'll watch some, like it can either elevate a band or an artist for me,
Yeah.
or it can almost like bring them down for me, where I'm like, I really like your music, but your form, your art, or your performance, it just wasn't. There's some people that just get on stage and just stand. There's no theatrics to it, or they can't
True,
really sing
true.
in person, or like I like a little bit of fire to shows. I like some fun. So I like
Right.
those performances definitely changed my mind. But getting back to it, just because
Tool's
I
one
did
of my
love Tool.
favorite bands to see.
Oh,
live.
I like Tool.
Yeah,
You
that's one of
listen
my
to Tool?
I
favorites.
do.
I love that.
Yeah.
Tool just dropped the album like a handful of years ago too. Like they were
It
still
takes them
going.
20 some years to put one out, but
But it's damn good.
Takes a while.
it's the best album you ever heard.
Yeah.
It's
Every
good.
time.
So what else, out of curiosity, like, what else was kind of the city of Monroe like back then? 'Cause I'm really intrigued.
There was a drive-in restaurant at the south end of town called Park and Snack.
Okay.
And there was another one at the north end of town. So we used to cruise in our cars back and forth on Monroe Street, just cruising,
just hanging out.
So that
How much
actually
was gas back then?
gas was probably 32 cents a gallon.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Cheapest I've ever seen it is 69 cents.
What?
Ever?
Uh,
It wasn't in
I remember
Michigan.
paying 23 cents when gas war was going on.
I talked to a guy today. He works with me. Shout out to Jono. But I work with this guy. He owned the McDonald's on Telegraph in La Pleasance or Monroe Street in La Pleasance for years. And he said that when he started, he made 97 cents an hour, and he could get a burger, a fry, and a pop was like 47 cents or something. He said
for a combo.
For a combo,
yeah.
And I was like, whoa.
It's 17
crazy.
bucks now.
Yeah, and I literally said that. I said, yeah, now you go order that. It's
And
like
less food,
15
too.
bucks.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
it
Do
is.
you
I started working at Chevy in Toledo, and I hired in and was making $5.10 an hour.
And what year
And
was that?
1970, summer of 70.
So was that? I'm assuming I'm not
That-
great at
that
math.
was-
in my head. Was
I
that
mean,
after
that
you
was-
graduated?
that
Then
was
right
the-
after.
Yeah, I graduated and got in there, and then started taking classes at community college
Here in Monroe.
here in Monroe County Community College. Yes,
Shout out to MCCC.
shout out to MCCC.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. Meg over here's got her degree from there too.
Real
Yeah.
quick shout out for them if you're over 30. What is it? 35 or 30
I
something?
think it's 30. I think.
if
Yep.
you fill the stuff out, you can get in for free. So
Yep. And they just posted, if anybody is interested in that, because we get listeners right in
the
that age
reconnection
range.
plan, I
Yep.
think it's
They
called.
That's right.
just, if you get on their page, they just posted something about it actually today, because I'm thinking about doing it myself because it's free. It's
Wanna-
free
wanna-
college.
wanna
Like,
be
why
free
wouldn't
college
you?
buddies?
You know, I'm like, why wouldn't we take it? But
Why not?
Right.
Why not?
What was the town like as far as politically back then? Like, was it simple? I mean, what was the things like back then?
Oh, I didn't get into politics that much.
You
You
just
know,
did.
I worked with GM and I was partying, and that
Typical
got to be
19, 20-year-old.
Yeah.
enjoying life.
sex, drugs, and rock and
So
roll.
At that
Yeah.
time, don't forget he was legal, right? 18, you could drink.
18, you could drink.
Yep.
Yep.
And that was the real big stage too, right? In America and in society, where everybody was big on psychedelics and partying and all that different
Oh
stuff.
yes. Oh
And
yes.
those
Did a
crazy
lot of
times.
that. Yes. Oh yes.
What a crazy time to like. It just seemed like, besides all that, it seemed so simple, man, back then. Like, I don't. Do you feel like you have a hard time
right.
adapting to today, or?
Did you not hear him? He said the whole world was going to shit in a handbasket, but at the same time, great things were happening.
But
too.
almost like, don't you feel like that's today? I was just
Yeah,
gonna
I
ask
do.
him that.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
very
so
much.
what do you feel?
I
Do you
very
feel
much,
like
yeah.
we overblow the situations today, and there's always been shit going on, or do you
There's
really feel
always
like the
been shit
world's
going
really
on.
hell in a handbasket?
It's just the media hype stuff. They'll find something and they'll blow it up and make people all concerned and
Yeah,
worried.
I
And,
agree
yeah.
fully.
So just don't watch the news.
That's great advice, though.
Yep. Only thing I watch the news for is the weather and I'll watch sports.
Sports. My wife's big into football, so we always watch football.
Go Lions.
Football's good.
Yep. And this guy's a Michigan fan. Shout out to the Wolverines.
Yep.
Go blue.
Go blue.
Love it. Are you a Lions fan? I'm assuming.
Oh,
I'm assuming
everybody that lives in Michigan ought to be a Lions fan.
diehard Lions.
Something I do is when I find out who's coming on here, I comb their Facebook, and I saw, I think, a picture of you with the Green Bay stuff on.
Green Bay back 10 years ago was we had friends in Green Bay, and I was traveling for the job. So I'd go in and out, and I worked a lot in Wisconsin. So I bought a cheese head, and I got a Green Bay shirt. But Lions are always number one.
Yep.
Did you
But,
like
Hey,
Wisconsin?
we all have a second team. My second
Yep.
team was the Patriots.
I'm a Titans
So
fan.
yeah,
Yep.
Packers are my second team.
Yeah, actually, my second team was Tom Brady. Whatever team he was going to be on.
Wow.
Love
you
it.
know?
Yep. Did you like Wisconsin?
I did product inspections, so I got over and went to a lot of cheese factories.
Okay. So it's really as famous as they say.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Love it. I had a cousin that does engineering for the government.
Yeah.
And he gets sent to Wisconsin always, and he says it's besides the winters suck like our winters. He's like,
yeah.
it's pretty awesome over there though. He loves Wisconsin. And I've also heard that that's one of the best places to
No,
go watch a
no.
football game.
Yeah, I would like to go. I would like to go watch a Green Bay Packer game, like a Lions versus Green Bay in Green Bay. That would be an
Lambeau.
experience.
Oh, Lambeau Field. Yeah.
That would
Yeah.
be an
Driven
experience.
past it, never been into the stadium.
Yeah.
I've been at a bunch of those stadiums. I've driven past them, and I always said, like, so I've gone through different spurts of, I was really hardcore into hockey for the first part of my life, and then I was into baseball and football, and then so I would love to go like on a trip and go to all the different stadiums if possible, to all the sports. I know
Yep.
how crazy that sounds to even do one sport, but
Yeah.
that is something that I think was cool. So I've gotten into the Pittsburgh one,
Yeah.
and for hockey, that was cool.
Pittsburgh is a great sports city.
It
It's
is.
a great place to go catch any game.
They got art museums there. They got all kinds of stuff.
So
I like Pittsburgh.
So this is a great transition period to this. This is something that I wanted to talk about on the show. I know that you've been to some awesome places. Where's a couple of the places that place is incredible. I know you like to travel, avid traveler. Her and I would like to do that in the future. So
Sure.
give us some recommendations, give us some advice.
Well, you want stateside, or you want Europe, or what do you want?
See that?
With my job, okay, I worked, the last job I had the company was called Mettler Toledo. So it was if anybody remembers the old Toledo scale. So
I do.
Toledo scale started in Toledo,
Yeah.
Ohio in 1901, and they manufactured scales. Well, the company got sold and bought and merged with a company called Mettler Scientific. So the company was that I worked for was called Mettler Toledo. So I worked in the product inspection division. So we weighed things, checked the weight of things in motion. We did X-ray inspection. We did metal detection, and we had vision systems. So that job took me to 47 of the 50 states. Took me to Europe a half a dozen times. So I've been around.
Where at in Europe?
Well, we had a sister company in Germany.
Okay.
So I went to Germany a few times. And then Mettler Toledo's world headquarters is in Zurich, Switzerland.
Wow.
We came out with some new software, and they were looking for volunteers to learn the software. So being the good guy that I was, I volunteered to go to training in Zurich for a week. So that was pretty cool. Never been to Switzerland, but
Yeah.
So you traveled for work. Then I was gonna ask, like, because I like to travel to eat, right? I like to travel.
eating is good.
This guy.
I always ate.
That's
Yeah.
my favorite part of traveling. Period.
Okay.
So whenever we're talking like travel, I want to know what's some of the best food you've eaten. What's stuff like that.
We did
and where.
not for work, but wife and I went with friends to Spain.
Okay.
9 years ago, 2015. So that was good. We went to Madrid, and then we went down to Costa del Sol for a week, and then we went to Barcelona and
My daughter's
caught a
from
soccer
the
game
state.
there,
Nice.
That's probably
It
a
was
different
good.
experience.
which they call football there.
Yeah, I
but-
want to experience that. I do.
But that
I
was
would-
pretty cool.
I would love to experience a football game from a real.
So
football game.
our friends, we knew that we are going to go to that soccer game in Barcelona. So we each wore a shirt from a team from Detroit. So we had Tigers, Lions, Pistons, and Red Wings. So the four of us had those 4 different shirts on for Detroit sports, and we were at a soccer game in Barcelona, Spain. And it made the Detroit Free Press used to have a section in the back in the travel section. It was called Travel with the D. So if you traveled someplace and you wore a Detroit shirt, they would put your picture up. So we got a pretty good coverage.
That's sweet.
I saved that page.
And if they don't do that, go back to doing that free press
Yeah,
because
that
that's
is-
pretty cool.
Yeah,
I
we-
like that.
That was yeah, like I said, that was 9 years ago. So
What were some of the? Because dude, I'll be honest. Like these guys are the food guys.
some of the best food I've ever had was in
I'm not a
Spain.
food guy.
Spain.
What
yeah.
kind of foods are we eating in Spain?
Oh,
is-
fresh. I love fish. So I got
Okay.
all kinds of fish.
That's what
Yeah.
that's a lot of what they eat over
A lot
there.
of what they eat.
Rice.
Not so much rice. Olives.
I love olives.
Really?
There's
See, I'm not out of olive.
how many different kinds of olives are. Every bar you go to, they set down a couple dishes of olives.
No kidding.
Yeah, just appetizers.
Just
Here,
a
help-
snack on.
Just a snack on. Goes good with beer.
Now,
does.
what kind of beers are you drink, or what kind of drinks and different? Like, is it different than here? What are we drinking over there?
We when we were in Madrid, we took a day trip down to Toledo, Spain. And we had an afternoon to walk around. We found a bar that had Toledo beer. So
Really?
never heard of it. Had one. Got a picture of it.
That's the kind of stuff too that so that's the stuff that intrigues me about listening to your stories about travel. It's the little things, right? That
All little things.
you
yeah.
don't find anywhere else, and that's why I love traveling, because I'm like, you go to places that, and even if somebody was to travel here, we don't think of it because it's home, but
Right.
there's something that every place, like, it's something different
Royals
here.
Mollete is
Right.
one of those places.
Right.
That's the Spanish bakery.
Yeah, we
Okay.
have the Spanish bakery
Uh,
on Telegraph, and
Ah.
it's
Siri Thai's
delicious.
Another good one.
Siri
Okay.
Thai is awesome. Shout out to them. Go check them places out if you didn't. Siri Thai is amazing. So
Siri
if
Thai.
you like authentic Thai
Thai
food,
I do.
they're straight from over there.
Okay.
It's incredible,
Delicious.
and they're great people.
Nice.
They have a spice rating. I was talking crap to her last time. I was like, 3 wasn't even spicy. I could barely taste the spice. Next thing you know, she goes, okay, and she made another mark in her book.
Uh-huh.
She came out. My nose was running a little bit this time.
They're awesome
Gotcha.
over there.
They are.
Yeah.
What's you said Switzerland?
Switzerland.
Another
yeah.
place I have no idea. But
Is that where the Hadron Collider is? Is that?
It is. CERN is in Switzerland.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
hold on, what are we talking about?
It's
The Hadron Particle Collider.
I coach football, man.
So
You
basically,
gotta
yeah,
simplify this.
subatomic particle physics.
Okay.
Can we discuss string theory? Or is that
it's probably far over everybody, but basically they're colliding particles trying to create a black hole and whatever.
Oh, no,
else,
yo.
different uses,
Yes, I heard.
stuff.
So I've heard this on Rogan. Rogan's
Yeah.
talked about this before.
yeah?
I've heard of this. Okay.
Theory.
Neil deGrasse Tyson will tell you all about it.
Theory.
Are you a fan of his?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I like science.
I'm just curious. People,
like
some people
science.
love him, some people hate him.
Yeah.
There's a kid.
I don't know
who's
enough
a
about him to.
genius, thinks that the Hadron Collider the reason that all these Mandela effects are happening is because the Hadron Collider has knocked us into a different dimension.
Some of that stuff's wild, man. Because the Fruit of the Loom one is wild to me. That one's
one,
went.
that was real. That's one of those.
That
things
one's
where
went
the guy-
viral,
they
and I'm
changed
like-
their logo. You know what I mean? They just changed it.
I just seen it go viral, and I'm like, no, that was definitely the Fruit of the Looms logo when I was a kid.
It had a cornucopia, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah,
It did for sure.
They're
right?
saying it never had a cornucopia.
Have you seen that stuff about like the Mandela effect and all that?
Not up to speed on that. Sorry.
Some of it's crazy. It's like
It's like that
How do I-
exactly. Okay, so they're saying that the Fruit of the Loom logo never had a cornucopia, and there's people that are saying, of course it had a cornucopia, right? You just said it had a cornucopia.
From what I recall, yeah.
it's like a theory that there's basically like another dimension or something, right? And
There's
like
many dimensions.
so like movies, right, that we thought were out as kids no longer appear within streaming services
Shazam.
or Shazam's one of them, or DVDs, or apparently there's like arguments that like, no, that existed when I was a kid. I know it did, but you
Shazam
can't
existed.
find it anywhere. Shazam
You can't.
definitely
I
existed.
watched it myself.
That definitely. There's a couple of them where I'm like,
There
no,
is-
damn it, that was definitely there when I was a kid. Because I know it because I had it or something
Uh-huh.
like that.
No, but that's the whole reason I knew what a cornucopia was, is because of my fucking
Fruit
underwear.
of the Loom.
Ah.
You know?
Yeah.
Where else would I see a cornucopia?
Yeah.
No, that stuff's crazy though over in Switzerland even. So they're doing that over there.
Yes, they are.
That's like, where are we at in that process? Because that's pretty wild.
Oh, that was a couple years ago, before the big C word
Oh,
that they were
the
doing. that.
old disease.
Big C word.
Yeah, we
Yes.
don't want to bring that one back up.
No.
But so that was before that they were working on it real heavy.
Yeah, I don't know what they've done since.
What was it like over there in Switzerland? I know
It was like
nothing.
living in a postcard. Well, the wife tagged along, so she'd be out and about every day. I'd go and sit in class every day. So they, the campus for the headquarters was in one town. We were one town over.
Okay.
And we'd have to take the train over to every day, catch the train, go to class. I mean, stop was right there. But I did have a car over there, so we drove around a little bit. We went to a few different places.
Well, like where?
Oh, driving in Europe is pretty much like driving here. Pretty easy.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
On the opposite
Never
side.
been never
Now, are
been to
they-
the UK. If you go to the UK, they drive on the wrong side.
Is that where they flip?
Yeah. That's where they flip. So anything that waves the Union Jack,
Okay. So
England, Scotland, Ireland,
The land.
wrong side of the road.
all those literally drive. I didn't know that over in
Yes,
Ireland
they
and
do.
everything.
United Kingdom.
But Europe proper, everybody's driving on the right side of the road, and you can pretty much figure out what the traffic signs say.
So going to those places wasn't like I guess like a huge crazy adjustment, right? To like kind of
Time shift. I mean, the 6 hours difference. So once you get over the initial jet lag,
yeah. How long did that take?
what to get there?
Just to like get over the like 6 hour time change. I
Oh,
feel
a
like
day
that
or-
would mess
a
my
day or
body
two.
up.
So, so when you went to Switzerland, what year was that?
That was 2013.
Okay, so that was more.
So that was like 10 plus
Yeah,
years
yeah,
ago.
So
yeah.
we got a guy that lives in Ukraine.
Yeah.
And he said that they're kind of stuck in like the 50s, 60s era of life right now, of their way of life.
Oh, okay.
In
the Ukraine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ricky Kane's probably watching.
Ricky Kane.
Shout out.
Hope you are okay. When they were bombing, I asked him about it, and he is like, "Well, there's people having parties and stuff over here. They're not too worried about it."
Sure.
And he said that the people don't even know that America's given billions of dollars. They think we're just sending troops over there to help.
Which we aren't.
Right.
Right. He said they're super kind of like misinformed on that, but
they
then
believe
right.
what the TVs say.
There's a lot of misinformation out there.
a whole
Yes.
lot.
Depending on which news outlet you listen to.
And that's part of like where podcasting comes in, right? Because like I don't like even things we've learned today from you as far as history in the past and different things, like I don't want to learn from what somebody has an agenda. I want to learn from people who are just like yo, here's the truth. This is what I know. This is what happened.
Ah,
And a lot of times, I'll be honest, you're finding that today in different podcasts and different things. We were talking about Rogan before the show. He's one who he's just a straight shooter,
He's my
man.
favorite.
There's no
Yeah.
money trying to be made. He doesn't need anybody's money. He doesn't need anybody to control him. He's just trying to get word out there about
Sure.
what's going on.
right.
And I love that stuff. But no, man, it's crazy. Where in the States have you traveled that you kind of really have a spot for?
Oh, well, the wife and I celebrated our 50th anniversary a couple months ago, and we went to Hawaii.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So Hawaii was good.
I tell me about Hawaii, because my grandmother, she passed away, rest in peace, but she loved Hawaii. That was her favorite place to travel. And she used to tell me about it all. And she told me, and I've never been, but she told me, if you can go anywhere in the world, you got to go there. You have to see
It
it.
was nice. It was very nice. We spent a week on each of the 4 big islands, and each one's got its own character, if you will.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, its own climate,
Okay.
its own vegetation. I mean, it's all volcanoes, old volcanoes. But we flew into the Big Island, and we went to Volcano National Park. So that was pretty cool. Wasn't erupting. You could see steam vents coming out.
Damn, that would trip me out,
It
though.
Yeah,
was.
but that's something that's going on all the time, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It erupts.
And you're right there.
Yeah. It's a
Well,
national. It's a
erupting-
national park.
By erupting, he doesn't necessarily mean boom,
I know,
but
still,
it's always oozing.
I'm like,
It's always
when's that
It
dude?
does boom from time to time.
From time to time, yeah, they all.
See, and
do.
that's what would worry me, because I'm sitting there watching it steam. Like, you ready to tick tick boom or what, bro?
Well, volcanoes do that. Some dudes were climbing on Mount St. Helens when it blew, and never seen or heard from again.
Yeah, they were.
So yeah,
That's
Mother
what
Nature.
that's
Mother
what I-
Nature is an awesome force.
So
It's crazy. Andy.
It is.
that just amazes me, the fact that a mountaintop just blew off like that,
Oh yeah,
right?
exploded.
That's the nature
I
part.
wasn't- I can't-
Nature's crazy.
I don't remember what year it was. I don't remember it actually happening.
Oh
but-
geez, I think it was the 80s.
Yeah, it was too early for me, but
Yeah.
I remember the stories, and that just always has amazed me, the fact that a mountaintop can be blown off like that.
Right.
There's certain
What
things.
other mountains are ready to pop like that?
Right.
Well, they say there's a big activity underneath Yellowstone Park.
Any
Volcano.
moment? Yeah.
Could be. I mean, it hasn't blown for 200,000 years, but it could be any day now. Jesus might be coming back, but any day now.
Any
day.
day. That's
It could
crazy.
be.
Don't hold your breath.
That wow though, man. Going, because I have friends that worked at Yellowstone. Going
Yeah,
to
me,
Yellowstone
same.
and
I've
knowing
never
that
been.
like that may pop underneath.
You ever been?
No, I've never been out
I would go.
west.
Have you?
Nope.
Oh yeah.
I've never been.
You been to Yellowstone?
Oh yeah.
I'm into nature, and so that's the one place I do want to hit.
Me too. Big time.
I do want to hit there. I want to hit Japan.
Never been to Asia.
No.
You know, I've been to U.S. and been to some islands in the Caribbean. Been to Europe half a dozen times.
I want to go to the Philippines.
The island in the Caribbean is probably pretty nice too.
Oh yeah.
I hate to say it like this because I'm not trying to get super political, but I'd be afraid to go to a lot of different parts of Asia right now, just to be honest. Like me personally, like I wouldn't. I'd be just temperatures are
Quick
high
question,
around the
quick
world right
question.
now.
Why though? Why? Because temperatures. Who did you hear this from?
You're right. The media. You're
Media.
right.
Yeah.
You're right. But
Yeah, and what channel will you
vloggers-
tune into?
but
all
also-
the vloggers I see on
It's-
TikTok and on YouTube.
it's more
and
worried about China,
They're
man.
just
That's
walking
more.
around, having a good time, eating good food.
You're right, and there's a lot of places you could
backpacking
go.
through.
Sure.
You're right. There's
I'm
a
not
lot.
saying bad things can't happen, but
That shit can happen anywhere
get
you go. Honestly,
struck by an earthquake right now and be sucked down to the who knows.
man,
where.
you can go to Florida and get eaten by a gator.
You know?
Well, you could be driving on M50 and somebody crossed the center line, and
Yeah,
Hit ya.
honestly.
I mean, we were going home this afternoon, and there was a garbage truck a car was trying to pass somebody, and
that's
here's
scary.
a garbage truck and a car sitting there, and you got to watch out.
That's scary. For
Yeah.
sure.
Always be alert.
That's a lot of places though, man. I think traveling, because I'm like you, man. Nature, especially like there's certain places in the world where I don't know if I'll ever make it, but I wish I really do. Like the islands is one of them. Hawaii, the Amazon. Like, dude, I think it would be so cool. You ever
South
seen
Okay,
it?
America?
so now I'd be scared of. I'm not saying I wouldn't go, but I'd be more scared to go to the Amazon than.
But
go
wouldn't
to
it be sweet
go
though?
to even China, because yes, it would be, but everything in that thing could eat you,
That's right.
Everything's trying to kill you.
including the people.
But
They could.
wouldn't that be just the coolest place in the world though, to just
What?
just spend a day?
Go to the Amazon.
Yeah, just
It
for a
would be.
day.
It would. Be.
I've had friends that have gone and I think it's called ayahuasca,
ayahuasca.
ayahuasca. Yeah, just to experience.
See it.
Yeah.
But shoot, I mean, some of the places that you've traveled are when it comes to nature and animals and all that. I mean, some of those places are right up there
Well,
too.
St.
just-
Thomas was nice. The Bahamas are nice.
Bahamas, too. What's your favorite place? Like, if you had to pick, like, this is my spot.
Time out before you answer that.
Time out.
We got a question.
Yeah, I just find out you're a pilot.
I am. Was.
Whoa.
You were.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I had a photography studio, and I did aerial photography.
okay.
So when I was 18, I started taking flying lessons. So I'd go to Custer Airport here in Monroe, and I'd rent Cessnas, and basically I use the Cessna as a camera platform.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Really?
it's low and slow and clear sunny days. So fly the plane and click, 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 take a few pictures. So I did a lot of that, but that was before drones and before Google Earth. Google Earth, you can see any place on the planet.
You were the original Google Earth and drone.
Well, for Monroe County.
Yeah.
You're right.
For Monroe County.
But that's
Yeah.
awesome though. That's
cool.
incredible. And just a second before we keep going, you didn't think to tell me that when I was prepping the show about that the photography was actually from an airplane? She's
That's
like, you own a
funny.
photography business. I'm like, from an airplane? No, I appreciate you chiming. No, I love you. I appreciate you chiming in because that was a great
So
question.
that being said, real quick, you obviously fly for fun once you got your license. So where's
Yes.
the coolest place you've flown to?
Well, I was a fair weather pilot. Never got my instrument rating. So I flew a guy up to Mackinac Island one time
Awesome.
for a conference and sat in the conference. Front came in, cloud parked itself on top of Mackinac Island. I couldn't fly out because I was only visual flight, VFR,
Yeah.
wasn't instrument rated. So, but that was the coolest place I ever flown to.
That's pretty sweet though, to take a dude up to Mackinac on a
Yeah.
and just to be able to fly a plane.
So
Like-
one time, it wasn't my grandpa he had a buddy that was a pilot, and we flew up to Gaylord one time for lunch and
That's
flew back.
crazy.
That was the coolest place I've ever flown in, like a small plane with.
Mhm.
That was cool.
That's wild.
Small
though.
planes they're cool, but a little nerve wracking too, in my opinion. I don't fly myself.
I'm not
Uh,
a flyer either.
My uncle I know has dropped a couple of planes while he's in the air and crashed them and lived to tell about it.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
No.
Oh no.
Oh,
I
yeah.
always very safe. Try to be very safe.
Do you still fly?
I've totaled a few cars, but in my day. No, I've had a few back surgeries and I can't pass the physical anymore. So no
Yeah.
more flying for this boy.
Got it. But that's what a life experience though,
Yeah,
right?
to
Like,
be able to
It was
fly is
fun.
cool.
that's
I used to go get the kids out of school. I remember Jason was in 6th grade at Riverside. And I go in the afternoon, go and knock on the door. You know, you could just walk right into school then. I said, can Jason come with me? And teacher would say, oh, Jason, your dad needs you to go with you. So I'd make him fly the plane while I was hanging out the window taking pictures.
that is awesome though.
So yeah, I remember that.
That's super cool, man.
It was.
You one thing I like about you, so and like they know this, and these guys are kind of the same way. I like people that are multifaceted, that kind of just they're not constricted to one thing, right? Like I know a lot of people probably think I'm just a football coach. They're like, this dude just talks and loves football 24/7. But believe it or not,
he
like
does.
I have a family, I do run a business, I do have other interests. I like coaching volleyball, I like doing different things. It's just I like different experiences, right? So somebody like you, I look at somebody like that and I'm like, man, what a that is such a great just journey, man. What an incredible journey with a lot of experiences, and to have your hands in that many things, to be able to fly a plane, run a business,
What other secrets do you have under your hat?
shoot, I'm going to do
what
a
other
TV
secrets?
show.
How much do you want to know?
We went straight, we went
So,
straight to the TV show, and
We did.
Oh, okay.
Tell us more, Tom.
Okay. Well, February of 1981, I joined the Kiwanis Club of Monroe,
Okay.
which is people in the community, business and professional people, and doing good things for Salvation Army and different things around town. Stress the kids. So I'm still go to Kiwanis. We meet every Wednesday at noon. So it's a good group of people and good group of friends.
Before you continue on, because I'm sure you got some other stuff, but are they the ones who build the parks then?
Yes.
That's you guys, that
Kiwanis, yes.
organization builds those?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a worldwide
I see
organization.
those all the time, and I'm like, they got a park up here, a park over here, a park up here.
I never knew what it was, but you're right. I have seen things.
Well, it's it's a service organization,
Okay.
comparable to the Rotary Club and the Exchange Club, the Lions Club. It's all people interested in doing good things for the community. So, and I enjoy doing that.
I definitely, and that's still something you said you do today.
I had lunch. Let's see.
Just today.
Is today awesome. Wednesday? Yeah, we meet every Wednesday at noon at St. Paul's on Monroe Street here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Much respect. Much respect. Love that. Love that.
So, I worked and I joined the Air Force in '72 because I didn't care to work for the auto industry.
Right.
So I wanted electronics training. So I joined the Air Force and I was a computer repair guy and actually got a job with IBM when I got out.
No shit.
So I was the IBM guy in the county. We used an IBM Selectric typewriter as an input and as a printer for the computer system I worked on.
Whoa.
So when I got out of the Air Force,
I
interviewed with IBM and it says, yes, we have an office products division. So it was typewriters, copiers, dictation equipment. So I worked for them for 5 years.
And this was at the beginning of IBM, right? Or it had to be close, right?
I joined IBM in '77.
Yeah, so I feel like that had to be like pretty.
Well,
pretty
IBM was they started in the '40s.
Oh,
actually.
Really?
Yeah.
There were no computers. They were doing typewriter stuff.
Well,
okay, so
typewriters in the '50s, yeah. So IBM, if everybody used to have an IBM Selectric typewriter, there's a couple other models too, but County of Monroe had 130 typewriters. Lazy Boy had probably 150 typewriters in there. It was before personal computers. So everybody sat and, manually typed. And
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Rooms. You remember Pearl Harbor? When there's
yeah. Yep. Damn.
Yep.
That's what I picture. Just women just sitting there typing.
Yeah. And actually, my dad joined the Army during the war, and because he'd had some college, and because he knew how to type, he got stationed in Hawaii. So I've got pictures that Dad took of women typing, those outfits. So all the time I was growing up, my dad used to, he'd talk about Hawaii, and he'd smile, and he'd get this look in his eye, and says, "Man, I got to go to Hawaii someday." Well, it took a while, but we made it there. We made it there last year, so it was good.
Love that.
Speaking of that, but actually, I was the school yearbook photographer at Ida, and always liked photography. Dad always had a camera, and his dad always had a camera, so I had photography experience. And all the time I was working for IBM, I was doing started doing weddings on the side, and started doing more weddings and more weddings. So I eventually quit IBM and opened up Gerwick Studio here in Monroe.
Okay.
So weddings, portraits, commercial, aerial photography.
Damn.
So had a storefront for Gerwick Studio.
So, as far as that goes, photography has changed a shit ton as far as.
Oh, it has.
So in the beginning, I know you had to know everything, right? How to do everything.
Right.
Now he's just gonna click and here we go, edit. Right? So kinda
99% of the photography I do
is on the
nowadays
phone.
is with this camera.
On the phone.
So kind of take us back a little bit again and explain a little bit for people that don't know, like what you had to do back then to actually
Great
take
question.
a picture.
Well, you
and
had
have
to
the
you had to
picture.
expose film, and I started out just processing my own black and white film. So I'd buy film. I'd buy 100-foot roll of film, roll my own 35 millimeter canisters, expose the film, process it, print it, and make enlargements for people.
And how long would this
That
this
was my
whole
question.
process
Yeah.
from click to here's my picture take?
Depending on how much time I wanted to spend in the darkroom, anywhere from a couple hours. I mean, it takes a while to process film for it to dry. You put the film in the negative in the enlarger and make a print and process that. So time total, couple hours. But usually I'd promise people a week.
So the longer you stay in the dark room, the better the picture quality is, or how is
No,
that?
it's just the process, the photographic process for black and white film.
Okay.
Color film, I'd send out. So there was different labs in Detroit. So for weddings, I'd buy film, expose the film, send the film off, and the lab would develop it, make prints. They'd send them back to me at Gerwick Studio. The wife and I, Joni Gerwick,
Shout out.
shout out to my wife, would and we'd put proof books together, number them, call the customer, and they'd come and pick up their proof book, look at the pictures, and they'd order so many 8x10s, so many 5x7s, and their wedding album, so on and so forth. So that was an involved process. Usually that'd take like 2 weeks to get their pictures back to them.
So you couldn't even do it that way nowadays because it's so much faster
Oh, it's so much
to
faster.
just do it on a phone and edit it. Like that stuff.
Right now, I can take a picture with the phone, go to my Walgreens app, send, print,
Right.
and within an hour, I got prints.
Yep.
Yeah.
Real.
One of the ways technology is maybe, some ways technology is a pain in the ass, but that's one way it's
Right.
made it pretty efficient because you could probably get 10, 20 times the amount of pictures done now that
Oh, yeah.
than you could. But I also respect somebody who came up in the hustle and grind and had to do it the old school way, before having it done this way.
And I shot a lot of Kodachrome and Ektachrome, which was color transparency film.
Okay.
So you put all the transparencies, the slides, into a slide tray, and you put the tray on a projector and project the images on the wall.
Oh, okay. I've seen
You ever
that
seen
before.
that?
Yeah.
You ever seen that happen?
I've seen those. Holy.
Yeah.
I've seen those in movies and all. Yeah. I've seen
Oh,
that.
yeah.
All types of stuff.
So
That's
I've got tens of thousands of old slides.
That's wild.
And what I've been doing this winter is taking my slides and digitizing them.
Okay.
So I'll put the slides in a projector, project on the wall, and I got a little digital camera. And I take a picture of that, and then I got a JPEG, and then and transfer to my hard drive, and then I can share pictures and send pictures and
Damn. So you're still
Photoshop pictures. Oh yeah.
So you're still involved pretty heavy in photography though.
Every day.
Those slides, man, you just brought up some.
That's crazy.
Some old memories. My grandparents, they're like World War II era.
Yeah.
And they used to have tons of slides like that you'd throw in the projector.
Well, my dad did.
And just half the time I wouldn't even do that. I'd just look at them like this.
Well, you can look that way, but it's a lot more.
Yeah.
You see a lot more detail when it's projected and it's that large.
Yeah.
You see,
We used to watch them at family
Oh yeah,
get-togethers on 7th Street.
that's right.
that's wild. I see you see like coaches that used to watch film like that too. You see,
Right.
and then the next clip of the film would come up and it's black and white and they're watching the play and clip next one and they're sitting there and it's like, and nowadays we have for coaching, we have an app called Huddle and like, so Huddle, basically us coaches will exchange film and it'll break the whole film down. We're spoiled. It'll break the whole film down for me and tell me everything I need to know.
His percentage and that percentage.
Okay.
Yeah, and but it's one of those things where it's like I remember the old like coaches click and just watching it, and it's like, man,
Having to cut the film and stuff like that.
Did you read Masshole's comment?
Oh, Masshole says, yeah, I was waiting. Masshole says there used to be photo booths in the parking lot of malls. You would drop your film off, go back later, get your pictures, and there was Polaroids. Those were pretty cool too.
I got some I got a lot of Polaroids.
I will say one of the funnest.
Mostly the wife, but we won't go there. We don't want to embarrass her.
I will.
Too late.
I will.
I'll let you use your imagination.
I will say this. I miss the days. So when I went to Florida, right, when I was a kid, I haven't been to Florida in years, but when I went, I was a kid. I missed the days and the excitement of like having your temporary camera, right, or whatever they used to call them, and you take your disposables and you take your pictures, and then the excitement of like, Mom, can you take me to go get my pictures developed? And then you get them developed and you're looking like I do kind of miss that. That is something like I'm kind of like.
There's a place. Okay,
cool,
Maydell Camera was down here at, where Scott Street comes into East Front.
Okay.
Building's still there, so I'd take and drop off my film there, and go back a day or two later and pick it up, and then have my slides.
And it'd be there. So I kind of miss that though. Like there is something exciting about
Oh yeah, the anticipation.
100%. It was like, it was that. It's like, man, I just went to Florida. I took all these pictures, and now I can't see them for a day or two till I get home. And man, when I get home though,
something that we miss. We don't have a lot of that anymore. Even our shows we watch, right? They all come out in one season a lot of the times, or multiple episodes at least. And our pictures, they come out instantly, or everything it's just instant
gratification.
It's also what's created instant gratification.
That's right.
It has.
The anticipation is what makes scary movies scary,
dude.
It's what makes things fun. Sometimes
you just
waiting for things to come in the mail, and
you just hit the nail on the head. But the one that
I'm getting in the cereal box now,
that you really got me with was the shows. Man, there was nothing like the last show, and her and I've watched it. I watched Friday Night Lights. That was the last show that I watched where they dropped an episode every week. And like I used to watch Lost back in the day.
You had to watch every single week.
You had
to keep up.
Yep. Or if you missed it because you fell asleep or something.
I do like it.
The reruns on at 3 a.m. You might want to wake up and watch the rerun.
I do like just being able to, because I don't get a lot of time to watch TV anymore. So I like, if I do find something I like, I'll just bust that thing out real quick as fast as I can.
See, that is one catch to it, right? Like we're busy. Everybody's got busy lives, and
that's right.
You can actually watch. There's a show her and I want to sit down and watch. It's like, well, this day we're open. We can sit and watch, 3-4 episodes this day, and you can kind of
you can binge watch.
Right?
Yep.
I was on Survivor. Like I was hooked on Survivor for a little bit there.
I used to watch Survivor back in the early days.
Competition shows. Ever since I was young, like even like MTV Road Rules and those types of shows.
Yep.
Those are cool. What is it? Joe Rogan's. What was Joe Rogan's?
Oh, Fear Factor. I was telling him about Fear Factor before.
I don't know if I've ever saw it.
I told him about the scene, right, or not the scene, but
wild
I told him about the spider stuff, right, where they put the girl in the tub of spiders, and his thought was the same as mine. He was like, "I hope them damn things didn't bite." I'm like, man, they used to do the craziest stuff ever, though.
jump out and push you out of airplanes and
All
make
types
you
of
eat
stuff.
fucking horse dick and all sorts of shit.
Like,
Like, here, you have the option.
I got a video. Never mind.
I forget why they got canceled, but I think the
Yeah.
horse dick is what got them
That
canceled.
could be, yeah.
yeah, and then people and
No,
then
but at first it was
Joe
like maggots
wouldn't
and
make it.
eyeballs and weird stuff like
Yeah.
that. But then it just kept getting crazier and crazier.
But that's like back to what we were saying about his show too. Is like Joe wouldn't make it today because like Joe even gets labeled like a right winger when Joe just like
He's not.
Joe's like the opposite. He's kind of just a but people label him because it's
He's for free.
anything you
whatever
say
it
that
is.
has to do with speaking your freedom or being free. It's labeled as something and not. That's
he says as long as you're not hurting somebody, who the fuck cares really?
Yeah.
Let some
Right.
Why
We
is
all-
you-
we
why
all
are
got
your
our- we all
nose
got
in
our own
somebody
reality,
else's?
yep.
Why are you in their business?
Yep.
They're not hurting nobody.
Right.
That's how I feel about everything. Like, who cares? Just do whatever you want to do and shut up, everyone.
Yep.
The
Everyone.
world is a better place.
Let's work
when
together to
when we
make
do
this
that.
world better
Yep.
and shut the hell up.
You know what else we can do, and I don't know anybody's political preference in
That's
here,
it.
but we might have a Democrat, a Republican, and an independent sitting in here, and we're all getting along.
Sure.
The thing about it, I don't know if that's even
Because
the
we're all
case.
adults.
Yeah,
But
correct. Yeah.
that
Everybody
and-
got our own opinion.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I think we've lost.
You shouldn't
like-
treat people differently because their opinion doesn't match your opinion.
Did you go through stuff during the C word all that time based on any of your opinions on anything or any of that?
No. Well, wife and I pretty much sheltered in place.
Stayed away from.
We
it.
did a little traveling, but it's hard because restaurants are closed.
Right.
But,
I traveled a lot during that couple years.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, man, we hunkered down a lot, but we did a lot, if that makes sense. Like we didn't sit at home, we just didn't go a bunch of extravagant
the
places.
most-
But like you said, there wasn't a whole bunch of places that really
Yeah. Oh,
Wasn't a whole
we're
lot to
both
really go
retired, so
do.
we didn't have to be places.
So I know we're getting close on time here. What are you up to these days?
These days, well, last couple of weeks, I've been digitizing all these slides had taken.
So retired but still working.
Retired, but still working. I still do special projects.
Okay.
Like a couple years ago, I did a composite photo for the Monroe County Bar Association.
Okay.
So it's all the attorneys and all the judges in the county, and made a big 30 by 40 print and framed it, and it's hanging in the courthouse.
Oh wow.
Nice.
So
Respect
if
to
you
that.
want to see some of Gerwick studio
Yeah.
past work, it's hanging over there.
Well, where can we go to see your work and not have to go to the
Oh, well, not everybody wants to go there.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I've been I like to paint too. When I retired, I started
Okay.
taking painting classes at community college,
Okay.
Monroe County
Very nice.
Community College.
Shout out. Very nice.
Shout out. So I've got a few paintings going on. I've done a few of those, and I enjoy doing that.
Okay. So you're still staying busy though.
Oh yeah,
I
you
love
can't
it.
just sit around twiddling your thumbs.
Yeah, I love that. Active. Stay moving.
That's
You
right.
got to keep your mind going.
That's right.
I love it.
So on that real quick, what else do you do to keep your mind healthy and sharp
My mind healthy and sharp.
in retirement?
Oh well,
Besides painting, because that is
I
something
enjoy
that will
crossword
be-
puzzles.
Okay.
So I get the free press on Thursday, Friday, and the Detroit free press Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. So I do crosswords. That's just diversion.
Mhm.
Do that. So and I got we do gardening. So I grow things and cook with things. Do I mention that?
I love it.
I
Yeah.
mean, if you want to.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh well,
It's all
yeah.
on your preference on
It's
that.
all in my preference. Yeah. So, and I got an old car out in the garage that I dink around on. 1990 Thunderbird that I bought in 1993. So I'm restoring that. So would like to get that running again. I mean, it's only what 34 years old.
See, that's one thing I never got into was like the cars.
Ah,
Never got into that.
well, my dad always worked on cars and taught us mechanics. Dad taught us a lot of stuff. I mean, he built houses and worked on cars. I mean, so learned a lot of carpentry and plumbing, electrical, all that. So
You guys are very well rounded. Your family is very, very well rounded when it comes to stuff like that.
Right.
Super well rounded. Now you can tell like where it comes from. 'Cause it's
when Joni and I started dating, she remembers helping me work on cars, do valve jobs or change the cam or timing chain is getting loose. Time to change the timing chain. The Roadrunner that I bought, I used to blow out rear ends, so spend many hours underneath cars changing parts. Not so much into that anymore. So
yeah, I feel like you get to a
yeah,
certain age
the body ages and doesn't do
Yeah.
things that it used to do in its younger days. So I try to exercise every day and stay fit.
Okay.
I go to the Monroe Family YMCA, 1111 West Elm Avenue.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to the
There's
Y.
a
Yeah.
shout out to the Y.
I haven't been
Yep,
there
yep.
since they put the new sauna in.
New
We're-
sauna's nice.
Is
We're
it?
actually talking about getting a family membership
Ah,
to the Y. We just canceled
okay.
our Planet membership.
We got a membership in the early 80s. We used to take the kids there swimming on Friday night.
Yep.
And there was classes in the morning, so I'd go work out in the morning and then off to work. So I still do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 o'clock. Strength and conditioning.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love that.
Shout out to the Y.
Yeah, that's incredible. No, hey, and shout out to you for a great message to people because
Well, as the body ages,
you got to stay
keep
moving.
You got to keep moving.
Yep, you
Yep.
have to.
That's why
I don't have as
And-
much energy and I don't move as fast as I used to.
And not just the why though, but just you using your mind in so many different ways, I think is healthy in a way that most people don't realize.
Well, it's good to read.
That's
Like,
incredible.
Go to your Monroe County Library.
Yep. Another shout out.
Shout out to the library.
Yeah,
Yep. The
that's
library.
where I
Books
got,
are good.
the
Like
last
to
book
read.
I read was about Monroe, and the biggest thing I took away was like in the beginning of Monroe when it was founded. I wish I could have seen it. They said it was lined with grapes, and there was sturgeon in the river that were like as big as vans, and it's like
There was
you-
sturgeon that would weigh 300 or 400 pounds.
Yeah,
They got,
yeah.
150-year-old sturgeons, and the river would go up and down. Well, in the summer, the river go down. Sturgeon are in these pools in the river,
Damn.
and there's stories of the old French settlers hopping on a sturgeon and riding them, and the fishes doing this, and they're seeing if they can hang on.
See?
That'd be wild. I would like to see.
I would have loved
Would
it.
have loved to have seen that.
Yep.
But that's that's late 1700s. So,
Yep.
Yeah,
I would have loved to see that.
yeah.
Can't even imagine that right now, though. Right?
No.
You look at the river now, and
It's
you're
hard
like,
to.
No way that would ever happen.
It's hard to, but that's like we listen to Rogan a lot and they talk a lot about the old animals that used to be in places. And there's so many things that were here. And even in just specifically our little local city,
Yeah.
so many, and even back to his stories earlier, like I didn't know about what was the something in snacks place. Like there's been so many things, nature wise, and then economically development wise, like the
Oh, yeah.
city of Monroe.
Well, businesses come and go, and it's
Yep.
depending on the owner. Like we
Yeah.
used to go to a lot of different places, and when that guy died, well, there went the business.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sadly.
I used to get my suits from Mr. R downstairs here, and there's no more Mr. R.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Todd Jones worked for him, and Todd for what's his place called?
Jones for men.
Jones for Men. Yes, he used to work at Mr. R.
Okay.
So that's where I met him.
Okay. So
So-
that's where he got his experience.
Yes, he did.
And I know you follow this page, but for anybody that's like interested in stuff like this, that's listening, there's a like Monroe Time Capsule page on Facebook. And I think I've seen you either post in there a couple times or like a couple things. But they post some incredibly interesting, like just pictures of Carlton, Monroe, Ida, like anywhere in the county that you could think of.
Yep.
And it's it's just anywhere. It could be a building, a structure, a business.
Maybe's old windmill.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Meg and I are always
old-
fascinated by the fact that so we went to Greenfield Village with little one
Okay.
this past summer, and long story short, the mill that was on Stony Creek Road is at Greenfield Village right there in Monroe, Michigan.
Cool.
The Loringer grist mill, right? And they still have it. And they
Okay.
use it obviously, at Greenfield Village to demonstrate and whatnot, but
Right.
it's like crazy. Her and I all the time are like, that was right over on Stony Creek, like right here.
Yeah.
Even the fact, like, I read that Monroe was like the paper capital of the world.
Yeah.
Used to be at least four paper mills here.
When you were growing up?
No, 100
This is way
100 years
Before
ago,
that, yeah.
Okay.
before my time.
Okay.
I mean, I'm old, but I'm not that old.
I knew I was about to get hit for that one. I
We're
was like,
talking
damn it.
1800s,
Set that one
early
up.
1900s.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I just asked because I remember what was that on the river right there before the tracks? That big brick building. Wasn't that a paper
yeah, that
mill?
was part
If you're
of
coming like from the
part of the-
clam
where
diggers and you're going towards, it's before the hockey rink, before the tracks. If you're coming from the
Yeah,
clam,
it was a
dig-
paper mill in that.
wasn't that a paper
Yeah.
mill right there?
that was paper. It was their offices.
Okay,
Yeah, the mill was across the street.
that's
I remember
crazy.
going there and fixing typewriters back in
We used
the
to
late
play paintball
70s.
in that. It was abandoned.
That's
Yeah. I mean, it was an old building then,
yeah.
but I used to go around in all these different companies and get
That's
in there.
crazy.
That was interesting.
People used to say it was haunted, and then they found a burial ground underneath it. Yeah, real
Probably
story.
from the war or what
Yep.
something.
Probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the war's got all types of stories and burial.
Right.
And
They
the
found
war is a
lots of war
crazy.
stuff, lots of war stuff.
So there's if you Monroe County Historical Society, shout out to them.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I'm a
It's
life
good- it's
I'm
good
a
to
life
know.
member.
Okay.
So
It really is. It's
interested
good
in
to know.
history.
Do they have to do with the museum and everything there?
Yes.
Okay.
Tied in with the museum.
Went to the museum when I was a young kid and I don't remember. I need to take the girls
Ah.
and go sometime
Okay.
just to kind of see what's in there and check it out.
It's cool.
Well,
Right over here on where the ice rink used to be. At least I've been there. Was it about a year ago? It was pretty cool.
so
So
that's the River Raisin National Battlefield Park.
Okay.
yeah.
Yes.
So I heard this, and I don't know if this is true, but I heard pre-COVID, and I ain't gonna say who I heard it from because I don't want to put them on blast in case they're wrong. But I heard pre-COVID they had a huge plan to make that in the old battleground like an entire, like almost Greenfield Village-esque, or Sauter Village-esque area, and had plans to bring all types of buildings and do all types of stuff. And then I heard that C word again that we're. I heard that just dismantled it for the time being, and things never
Yeah,
really
kind of pushed things back.
kind of like the golf course over there that was supposed to be developed into a hospital, and then
that didn't happen.
hit, and then Pro Medico was like,
Yeah.
never mind. I don't know why they said
plans
never mind.
change.
Yeah, they just decided it wasn't worth it anymore. But
Well,
Yeah, there used to be a golf course on the Pleasance Road out by the expressway. And now it's a Ford
Oh,
packaging
that's
or
right.
distribution center.
yep,
Mhm.
that's
Yep.
it's crazy. I could honestly
Forgot
talk
about
about
that,
I could talk about this stuff for hours, all the different businesses and buildings.
Oh,
and,
business come, business go. Yes.
yeah, yep. Except BrainJerk and Kennedy Health and Wellness and Gerweck Photography.
They'll
Gerwick
come.
Studio.
Gerweck Studio. We're
Yeah.
still rolling.
So tell before we get out of here, let everybody know how to get a hold of you, how to find you if you want them to, or
I don't want people to find me.
well, there you go.
I like to be incognito.
There you go. But
Maintain a low profile.
I will say this.
My family knows how to get a hold of me.
Right.
And I'm on Facebook. You gotta give Facebook credit for kind of tying people together and
Connecting,
finding
yep.
out about different aspects of people's lives,
Reaching people.
reaching people.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah,
isn't this one of the things you're doing with this podcast is
Yep.
reaching
Yep.
people
We're
with the
getting
social
messages out.
media. Yeah.
We've had about 10 to 15 people in here at all times watching.
Yeah.
And then we'll get well, Ryan shared it too. Shout out again to the Monroe County reporters, but it'll get, it could get any you could have 1,000+ people viewing this. So anything we talk about, that's why we like having interesting people and just bringing up sometimes crazy important subjects and different things that need to be talked about or fun things. We talked about nature a lot today and different experiences. And honestly, the coolest part for me today, and I appreciate you coming on, and I'll wrap my part up with this, is just like the history of our community, hearing what things were like back then and hearing about a place that, I didn't know that place existed here. And that is super cool to me because I'm prideful here because I think we have a lot of potential here, right? And I think learning about the history of where you're at, whether it be Michigan in general or Monroe, you need to know, kind of things that have gone on. That's the first thing I did. And I went to school at Mason, so this was easy. But when I went to coach there, like I wanted to know what happened recently, what happened 5 years ago, 10 years ago, what are the issues we're facing.
Sure.
So a lot of this was awesome, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Yep.
Happy to show up. Happy to share with you.
Hell yeah.
So I think we're good, man.
We're ready to go.
We're
is last thing before we leave. So you have one thing to say to the world. What's it gonna be?
Peace and love, motherfucker.
There it is.
I love it.
All
Let's
right, I
go.
appreciate you.
Love that. Thank you, guys. That was a great message.